Hi everybody, today I'm going to be doing the lesson 5 or grade 5 lesson 11 worksheet. Compare and write greater than, less than, or equal to for each. Use a number line if needed. Example, negative 4.13 is greater or no, less than negative 1 because they're negative. Okay, let's start with the first question here. 2 and 1. 2 is greater than 1, so we'd make the open mouth of the greater than or less than symbol to face towards the larger number. The way I learned greater than and less than was you can imagine them both as Pac-Man. And Pac-Man has to eat the little cherries. So the mouth of Pac-Man will always face towards the greater number. And that's how I learned it. So all you need to do is make the open mouth, quote unquote, this area of the greater than and less than symbol to face towards the larger number and you will be correct. Negative 2 and 1. 1 is the greater number because negative 2 is a negative number, which means it's below 0. Negative 1 and negative 2. Negative 1 is greater. Same reason, they're both below 0, but negative 1 is closer to 0, making it greater. 0 and negative 0.1. 0 is greater. Negative 1.5 and 1.5. 1.5 is greater. Negative 2.5 and negative 2.5. These two are equal. 1 and negative 1, 1, negative 10 and negative 100. Don't let this decimal point fool you here. You can read it as negative 10 because after the decimal point, if there's a 0 and no other numbers, you can just imagine the 0 is not there. And here, if you read it like this, then it says negative 10 versus negative 100, negative 10 is greater. Negative 100 and 100, they are 100 is greater. Don't be fooled and read the question carefully for the negative symbols. Negative or 0.01 and negative 1. 0.01 is greater. Negative 90.1 and negative 90.2. 90.1 is greater. Negative 102 and negative 102, they are equal. Negative 2.5 and negative 1.5. 1.5 is greater. Negative 651 and negative 651.2. Negative 651 is greater. On a number line, to depict this concept, any number after the number line or to the left side of the 0 will be a negative. Any number to the right will be a positive. Numbers on the right are greater the closer, or numbers on the left, which are negative, are greater the closer they are to 0. And numbers on the right are greater the farther they are from 0, which means it's always going left to right on the number line. Challenge questions. Compare and write greater than, less than, or equal to for each. This one, they're equal. This is really a challenge question. 0, negative 0. What makes this interesting is that they put negative times 0 in parentheses. When you put a number in front of a set of parentheses and put something inside the parentheses, you multiply the thing inside of the parentheses by the number that's next to the parentheses. So for example, the negative symbol here is equal to negative 1. So that means negative 1 times 0 is what's occurring here. Negative 1 times 0 is still 0, which makes these equal. Number 2, negative 1.0 and negative times 1.0, same concept. Negative 1 times 1.0. All we need to do is keep the number but make it negative. So that means negative 1.0 will be the answer to this math equation. And as you can see, these two are equal. Negative 1, negative 1, 1.0. This would be, this number would be greater. The reason for that is, first of all, negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. That's because a negative times a negative is always a positive. And if I make a chart here, no, let's not make a chart. Negative times negative is always a positive. Positive times negative is always a negative, and positive times positive is always a positive. Therefore, negative times negative means a positive, so positive 1. 1 times 1.0 here would be equal to positive 1.0, which is greater than negative 1.0. 1 plus negative 12, and 0 minus 7 plus 1, which is 8. 1 plus negative 12, that'll be negative 11. 0 minus 8 would be negative 8, so that means negative 8 is greater. Solve each word problem. On a field trip at Big Bear, Sophia recorded the weather in Celsius for one day. She found that it was negative 6 Celsius in the morning, 11 Celsius in the afternoon, and negative 2 Celsius in the evening. List the temperatures from least to greatest. Least temperature would be negative 6 C, then negative 2 C, then 11 C, because with negative numbers, remember, the closer they are to 0, the greater they are. So this number, negative 6, is farther from 0 than negative 2 on the number line, making negative 2 greater. Find the difference between the coldest and warmest temperatures recorded. Hint, negative 6 Celsius and 11 Celsius. The larger the number gets in temperature, we know that's more hot. The lower that number gets, it's more cold. So 11, find the difference between the coldest and warmest temperatures. Ooh, interesting. The answer to this one would be 11 minus negative 6. Whenever you see a number minus a negative number, these two minuses cancel out and they become a positive. So what this question is really saying is 11 plus 6, which equals 17. A better way to explain this would be to demonstrate 1 minus negative 1. So you can think of negative numbers as the opposite of a number, because for example, if I have 1 and negative 1 here on the number line, they're on opposite sides, but they're the same distance apart. So all you need to do to imagine this would be make the number the opposite of what it is. So this could also be 1 plus negative 1 times negative 1. Simplifying it like this, we know that a negative and a negative always equal a positive, so that means 1 plus 1. Find the average temperature in Celsius. To get an average, all you need to do is add up all the numbers. 11 plus negative 8 is 3, and get the total number of samples in the data set. Here, there's 3 different temperatures, which means we divide 3 by 3 to equal 1. So the average temperature is 1 degrees Celsius. The next day, Sophia recorded the morning temperature at negative 4 Celsius. She found that it was 13 degrees higher in the afternoon and 16 degrees less in the evening than the afternoon. Find the temperature taken in the afternoon and the evening. In the afternoon, as it was 13 degrees higher, that means the temperature will, oh, yes, that means the temperature was 9 degrees Celsius, because negative 4 plus 13 is equal to 9. And in the evening, it was 16 degrees less, so 16. Ooh, how should I go about explaining this? Oh, no. It was 16 degrees less than in the afternoon. In the afternoon, it was 9. All you need to do is 16 minus 9. The answer to that question is, or no, it will be 9 minus 16. Always get your signs right. The answer to the question will be negative 7. So that means in the evening, it was negative 7 degrees Celsius.